You are now tuned into TTB Entertainment.
TTB disclaimer: the views and opinions in this video and comments on this channel do not necessarily reflect or represent the views and opinions by this channel's broadcaster.
Hey guys, I'm the Shauna Brooks, and I am an actress, model, social media influencer, guru, and I am young, black, and gifted.
This program contains graphic material, including offensive language. Viewer discretion is advised.
This is The Panel, with host Bob the God, Aaron Wilds Out TV, and the voice of TV.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the panel. And as always, we have your host, Aaron Wilds Out TV, Bubs the God, myself, the voice of TTV. And today we have a special guest. She's a model, actress, author, reality TV star, and a TV host for Chasin Reality's new and only talk show, Chasin Chat. We have the beautiful Shauna Brooks in the building.
Yes, thank you guys for having me.
Thank you so much for coming on. So you're half Asian and half African American. You were born in Guam?
Yes, I was born in Guam. My mom is full Asian, Chamorro, Guamanian from the islands, and of course, my father is a military, retired military naval SEAL.
At what age did you arrive in Virginia?
Oh, Virginia was, I think, 8 or 9. I didn't leave Guam till I was like 7, 8 years old.
Okay, now at what age did you notice you were different? And by different, I mean the gay part first, and then from noticing that you liked guys, from then on, when did you want to transition?
Well, okay, so like I still like girls, if that makes sense.
Oh, okay.
You know what I mean?
Correct.
So, you know what I mean? I don't like to put a label. I don't know what it is. You know what I mean? But it's not every girl. But I like beautiful women. I like beautiful people. Is that the new pansexual thing that's going on? I
think that might be it. Yeah.
Everybody wants to be everybody's a chef these days. So I'm in the kitchen. Put it all in the pan. Yeah. So I love beautiful people. However, maybe I knew that I was different. I mean, I was real young. I want to say like around 7, 8 years old, I started having like those thoughts, but those thoughts only derived from like daycare, if that makes sense. Like the other kids in daycare that were, I guess more, that were older than me and that were, more exposed to whatever that was, you know what I mean? And then I realized, what gay was before even like experiencing or knowing what, sexually it means, because when you're that young, you don't know any better. So my mom's of like, I think there we go, for like 7 years. He would just like, he was so abusive, verbally, physically, mentally, emotionally, every type of abuse, he was that. And that led me down to question, myself sexually. And then I ran across, what do you call those? Porno tapes, VHS tapes or whatnot.
Yeah.
So I had ran across, I ran across those back in the day, and I saw the guys more attractive, if that makes sense. You know what I mean? And then the transgender, that just was a whole different ball game, because for so long I was not understanding, or couldn't pinpoint, or couldn't identify, or couldn't really understand what it is about me and inside, that was not reflective outside. So, and I was more feminine, like, I guess I was like one of those like mixed little, kids that are so beautiful, and they're like androgynous, and they have, the pretty curly hair. And it used to be that all the time when my mom would introduce me to like, her friends, she's like, no, that's, and I'd be like, I'm a boy. Like, they always thought I was a girl, so that was a issue in itself that kept me questioning, like, why does everybody keep calling me a girl? And one day I was around 13, was walking home from school, had no business walking home from school, but I didn't want to ride the bus because I was being taunted and teased on the bus, but I didn't want to tell anybody, back at home, that I was being taunted and teased on the bus. So I said, fuck it, I'm gonna walk across, these train tracks. And as I was walking home in the projects, every hood has them, where somewhere in that project, there's the gay house. And the gay house, all the punks stay in the gay house.
Yeah. Community thing, yeah.
You know what I mean? So, and I was walking past that house, child, and they were having a mini kiki ball. And the niggas on the porch from the neighborhood, the straight guys, were like, hell no. And it was just a whole bunch of boys and ruckus. And I walked up and I peeped in, and lo and behold, it was, a girl that they were saying, it's a dude. And then, but what I saw wasn't a dude. So, and this was that era where, this is like before plastic surgery, BBLs and work and all of that crazy stuff. And this girl was Dominican, and she was like the dark-skinned Dominican. And I remember the time frame and era, that was the J-Lo jean cat suit, love don't cost a thing era look, you know what I mean? So she had that, that jean suit and this big curly wavy Dominican hair, and ain't no way in hell you won't want to tell me that was not a girl.
Right. And
I saw all this body at 13, and it like instantly clicked, and I was like, oh, that's what I want to be. So that was my story, and she ended up being my gay mother.
Okay.
Do you mind sharing her name? You don't have to share her name if you don't want to.
Oh, she passed away. Her name was Isis Allure. She used to walk foot and eyewear labels. She was one of those divas.
Well, rest in power, love.
Yes, rest in power.
Now, my next question to you is, okay, what was the rush? What was the rush in getting hormone therapy? Because you revealed in 2017 on ETV's hit show, Botched, that you went to like the urban market and the LGBT
yes, God,
Black community.
I was in high school,
you had some injections done. But why the rush? You were only 14 at the time of the injections, and what exactly did you get injected?
Okay, so that is exactly what people in the community failed to understand, is like the immense amount of pressure that they put onto the trans women. And before there was, groups of plastic surgery or forums, blogs dedicated to trans women in general, there were just your immediate circle or in your city And of course, when you're prettier than, or you're more passable than, or you have a different pedigree than the next, it's always some sort of competition or false, badly rooted, malicious narratives that people can send you down, a path of, destruction. And I thought, for me personally, that it was in my best interest of the people that I was around, or that I was listening to, or that I was taking advice from, right? Well, at that age, I didn't tell my mom that I was like thinking of becoming a girl. And at that time, it was not even that era. You couldn't even get a doctor to give you breast implants in America. You know what I mean? So you had to go overseas and get breast implants. I got mine at like 18 or 19. But what happened was, there was this known woman that was known for pumping the girls. And I thought she was beautiful. She is still beautiful to this day. And they never said anything, bad, advice to me. So I expected, the truth that they were telling me was, real. And it was real. They were, fillers, injections, silicone. It does enhance your look and makes you, placed in certain areas for femininity, more femininity. And at that time, I was already passable because I was getting that as a boy. So when I did do silicone, the problem that I had that they didn't show on Botched was I got gay bashed shortly afterwards, which in that time period, I was trying to get emancipated from my mom. So I got emancipated when I was 16. So that 14, that 15, like those years for me personally, was that fugly stage where you're growing your hair out. You don't know if you're looking like a boy one day or looking like a girl. And it's like that, I call it the fugly stage. So for me, I didn't have a problem with the silicone being where it was. I had a problem having a disfigured face and a broken nose after being gay bashed and the silicone shifting in my face. So that was my personal experience. And this was before hate crimes. This was before, you know what I mean? I ended up moving in with a girlfriend who was a butch lesbian, and she had a 3-bedroom. Her mom had a 3-bedroom, and she had a younger brother. So she was like, oh, I got a place. You come stay here with me because you have to show to the courts that you can provide for your own and have a place, to stay. Only thing was she was in the worst neighborhood of all of the areas. And me coming into the neighborhood as a trans already, then I was popular. It was just a little bit too much for the guys in the neighborhood. And like, as I was minding my business, just coming out the house, trying to literally go to work, I got beat up and robbed.
That's so tragic. I'm so sorry that happened to you at such a young age. But my next question is, how did you come up with your name, your lovely name, Shauna Brooks? Like, how did that happen?
I really hate it, honestly. Okay, so
I love it.
It fits you.
My name is my legal birth name is Sean, but my aunts, I have like 2 aunts named Sean. I have cousins named Sean's. So like it was always a confusing.
Yeah.
Like when you're like, what was Sean you're talking about? So I was just like, you know what? And I used to hate my mom always quoting RuPaul back in the day. Didn't RuPaul come out with a song like Sashay Shantae or something like that, right?
Yeah.
I couldn't stand it. I was like, oh my God. And, my mom's ex-boyfriend used to like taunt me with that Shantae all the time because of course I was extra feminine. So I was like, anything but Sean or Shantae. And I was like, you know what? I had met my gay dad, and my gay dad is the one who was like, just say Shauna. And I was like, okay, it's Shauna. So I changed my name when I was like 16 as well to Shauna.
Okay, well, you were a high-profile adult entertainer, darling, and I mean high-profile. I mean, you got to the bag of the bags, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Why that specific field?
At that time, there was no transgender healthcare reform. There was no transgender, opportunities and jobs. And to be quite frank and honest, I'm a college dropout. My first experience, if high school was not bad enough, one day on campus, literally, I was at Norfolk State. My aunt, who is my godmother, lives directly across the street from Norfolk State University. So literally you walk across the street and you're in the dorms. I was on campus and females couldn't fish, could not take, and started telling the guys everywhere, that's such and such. And we're adults now. And I just was not ready for that. I was not ready to be, because then if they attack me, like, that's like, I could die, you know what I mean? Like, and I come from the streets, you know what I mean? Because I was already street walking around that time frame. However, when I became 18, I met this guy who was a veterinarian, and his name is Mr. Cochran, like the lawyer, Mr. Cochran.
Okay.
Yeah. So I met Mr. Cochran, and he was like, you don't belong out here in these streets. He was like, and you definitely don't belong in school where you're going to be taunted and harassed. He was like, why don't you go to a different state or out of state? I was like, I can't afford it. Like, I'm already emancipated. Like, I can't use my mom's income. Like, this is just like, it's everything that could have been wrong, that could go wrong, was being of trans. It was just like, I just have no other options. And he was like, well, whatever you decide to do. And I was like, just give me the money and I'll go online. This was AOL days. I was like, and I'll make an advertisement online. And that man paid for a whole year's worth of my advertising. And at that time, that's a lot of money, like damn near $1,000. And I got 1 week of earning potentials. And I was like, this is what I have to do.
Okay, collect the check. Now,
and it wasn't like a regular check either, because I remember I stayed in Norfolk, Virginia, which is the largest naval base in the world. So every 1st and 15th, I had it on lock, like it was no order. It would be lieutenants and captains like seeing each other and crossing. That's how booked and busy I was. When I say $2,000 a day.
Come on now. Yes.
Come on, coin.
Yes.
Come on, coin.
Yeah.
That's a lot of money for an 18-year-old.
It really is.
Yeah.
That's why I was like, secure the bag. Now, but you didn't stop there though, because from adult entertainment, you went from the adult entertainment business to the mainstream entertainment business. You got your start in ID channels, Indecent Proposal.
Trying to get out of the business.
Yes.
Right.
Then you went on to a TV One show called Here We Go Again as your character Roxy.
Yes, I love Roxy.
Alongside LaToya Luckett and the lovely Wendy Robinson. Okay, what made you transition into the reality TV and acting field?
Okay, so it wasn't me. I was requested.
Okay.
So at the particular time, and this is why I say, and I'm so passionate about certain things, about like gatekeeping and certain individuals in the scene, behind the scenes, who have authority, power, and connection to put people in places and in spaces that could elevate or, kind of change the trajectory of their their path and journey. And for me personally, I know that to be true because with my experience personally, I didn't audition for that role on TV One at all. They told me to read these lines. I read the lines, and the next day or a couple of days later, they were like, "Oh, you got the gig." And I was just like, I didn't even know I really didn't know what I was doing. Like, I really didn't know the magnitude of, like, this is a real life acting role. You know what I mean? I didn't know that. And then at that time, they don't tell you who you're working with. They don't tell you who's on. You don't find out who is on cast in real mainstream acting. You don't find out who's on cast unless you have intel within like the agency or your agent. However, until call time, which is the day when you walk into that trailer and they have your face, your headshots on the makeup and hair and the scene that you're working in. And that's when I found out, like, I walked in, I was like, Tasha, I know that's not Tasha Matt over there. Wigless. Bitch. And I was just like, wow. She was like, hey, Shauna. She was like, you know your lines? And I was like, yeah, I know these lines. She was like, okay, all right. She was like, so that to me, how I got into that was the director who is straight. But that Botched episode somehow got to him. That Botched led me to that ordeal. But here's the funny thing. I filmed Botched 3 years prior to them using my episode.
Exactly.
Really?
Yeah.
So that's what makes everything so, like, that's how I know, like, when they want you, it's like, they call it in-house casting. So when they want you, they're going to send for you. You know what I mean? Right. And like, I've auditioned for Pose. I've auditioned for what is P-Valley? Legendary. You know what I mean? Like, and it's the gatekeeping from the other people that is always an issue for me.
Within our community, right?
Within our community. Because it's so crazy to me. Like, here you have a straight producer who saw and, gave me my opportunity, which he didn't have to. You know what I mean? And it's those type of, and I still have, a rapport and relationship, because I'm so grateful for that. You know what I mean? That put me in the element of SAG. So, when you cross that barrier, it's an accolade of respect, you know what I mean, to the craft. And that led to Mona Scott hitting me up with Love and Hip Hop, because my name just kept getting dragged in every single person's mouth. And they're like, we have to figure out who this Shauna Brooks is. People in my circle, of course, at the time, was like Johnny Blaze, were people who were talented and singers and, talents of the show. Well, unfortunately.
Hold that thought, Ms. Shauna. Ladies and gentlemen, we have to take our first and
we'll
only
be right back.
Commercial break. We will be right back with the one and only Miss Shauna Brooks. Y'all already know what it is. Keep it locked. You are watching The Panel.
Guys, I need to borrow some clothes for the interviews because I don't have any fancy clothes.
You go to my closet, you take whatever you need. You too, Brennan. You guys got to look sharp. It's the most important day of our lives, okay?
Okay, Dad.
What's your name? What's your age? Where you from? What's your sign? Who you love? What's your style? What you do? What you drive? Stop, drop, and roll. Do that. Do it like a pro. Do that. Stop, drop.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are back with the one and only Miss Shauna Brooks. And before the break, she was talking about Mona Scott and her connections to Love and Hip Hop. So what really happened with that? You were saying, what were you saying before the commercial break? I'm so sorry.
How I got introduced to Love and Hip Hop. Everybody had me in my, my name was in a lot of people's mouths on the radio, from, Gary with the T to Claudia to Ricky Smiley to, it was just Young Jock. It was just a bit much. However, I guess that led them to figure out who I was. And, when I got invited to have a interview, I thought I was going to meet Mona Scott. I didn't know that I was signing up for Love and Hip Hop. Because at the time, one of the producers kind of like befriended me off of social media. And she called me on New Year's. That's what happened. It was New Year's. She called me. We had like a 3-hour conversation, and it was great. It was awesome. And one day she was like, I want to introduce you to Mona. And I was like, okay, cool. She was like, well, how about tomorrow? And I was like, okay, cool. And I went to go meet her. When I met her, the first thing she asked me was, what happened to my relationship with my ex-boyfriend, Anthony, at the time? That I did a YouTube video that ended up going viral before all the girls were thinking about spilling their relationship advice and, their experiences on YouTube. I had already did that with Anthony, and it just caused a ruckus on World Star, Media Takeout, and all of that, that comes with straight people gagging about the trade and how the dynamics it is, with, trans women in general. And he was just so unapologetically him that I guess it was shocking to them. And I guess the brutal reality of him being able to talk on his own was captivating enough for Mona, because Mona was like, what happened? And I was just like, life. Yeah. So she was like, I guess that was more so her angle, I guess, because if we came as a package, that would have been something special, I guess, or different to the show. And because we had already went viral, it would have been like kind of organic, if that makes sense. And that was not happening, although he is into music now after the fact. So, which I told him to get in the studio because he was talented, but you can't bring potential out of people that don't see it for themselves. So
right. I like that.
Yeah, but that's what happened. And then I got a contract to be a guest star on the show, and it was contingent on how many episodes I worked and how much time they were going to give me, as far as camera time. So they invited me to all of the episodes or whatnot. And I think they only briefly showed me on like 1 or 2, possibly 3. And for me personally, I was more devastated with that ordeal because Johnny Blaze at the particular time did out me as a cast member on one of her lives with Stevie J. And I've never told her that I had any type of, relations with that man. And it seems like all of my downfalls or all of the issues that I have in my success or my successes or possibilities of successes in my opportunities that are equitable opportunities are always at the demise or discredit of someone else spilling whatever issues, whatever, topic that they like to throw me into and underneath the bus. And at that particular time, what people don't understand is when you're under contract, you can't speak. And if I'm known for always speaking up and checkmating a bitch, if I don't speak on these matters, that means that there's something there prohibiting me from actually saying anything. And I was told not to. So at that particular time, had I known what I known that they were going to only put me in 1 or 2 episodes, I would have sung like a canary. You hear me, bitch? Like, bitch. No tea, no shade. You know what I mean? I would have been like, fuck that bitch. She got me fucked up. And I helped a lot of people out. You know what I mean? Like I helped Johnny out. I got her that place where she lives at. You know what I mean? So it was like at the time I didn't understand. It was like females always do me dirty. And knowing the dynamics of our relationship, of how people knew that we were friends and we were really close. People know that if I say it happened, because I've shown time and time again my authenticity with receipts, or, you know what I mean, the truth. If Johnny said it, it was gonna stick. You know what I mean? And it stuck. And unfortunately, it fucked me up in the long run, because who is to say that they did have that plan for me and Stevie J? You know what I mean? Who's to say? She had her shot on Love and Hip Hop New York. You had your go. You didn't allow me to even have a go at that. You know what I mean? So, you know, that's like how I got into the reality world, and navigating throughout it. I'm just trying to make sure I get the best representation in reality that's best for me, without exploiting a lot of the issues and narratives and disparities within our community. Because at the same time, I'm gonna do what's best for me. Fuck any hope that's coming behind me. I'm not that type of girl to say, fuck them and shut the door. I'm the type of girl that's gonna be like, okay, fuck them hoes. But at the end of the day, I'm gonna do what's best for me. And if it's best for me, then any bitch after, bitch, here's the door. It's open.
Oh, I like that.
Okay.
You know, thank you so much for thank you so much for saying that. Now really quickly, you brought Sydney Starr with you onto the episode of Botched that you were on. Really quickly, are you and Sydney Starr still friends to this day? Yes or no?
Yes, I just texted her like 2 minutes ago.
All right, boom. Next question. Now you got your start. Well, you got your notoriety due to being at Chris Brown's party, and then you were also attached to Bobby Valentino. However, I just wanted to say really quickly to the people who are watching, Shauna has not slept with any of these men, because Shauna has gone on the record to say that she does not deal with down low men. Catch that tea.
Oh.
Catch that tea. Now, the next question, let's fast forward to 2021. Okay, you are on Chasin Chat. Chasin Realities.
Look at that background.
Talk show girl. Now, what made you get on the show, and how did you feel about the backlash, girl? What's his name? Jerome Trammel? Girl, allegedly, he did not want to come onto the show because you were there, and that you supported Miss Angela Stanton, who just had this whole episode with Dr. Phil and her daughter, JB's. What's the tea?
For me, I believe that people who have their own internal issues within themselves project certain contexts and narratives that are hidden and disguised within themselves. And I only say that because there are certain ways that people in this industry move. And because I've experienced a lot of fakeness, it's seemingly more and more easier to sort out and rise above. So with this particular case, I always wanted to host the reunion of Chasing Atlanta, Chasing Houston, whatever. And I believe Madison, they went with Madison, but I was on the option candidate for one of the reunions. So that never fell through because of budget wise, so it has nothing to do, because
they couldn't afford you. They couldn't afford you, girl.
I'm not going to say they couldn't afford me, but per se,
you said
whatever they experience with Madison, with like promotion wise, I don't think that they felt comfortable to go another in that direction again. But then that's that celebrity, one post like it's gonna do some dramatic, you know what I mean, difference. But however, they reached out to me and was like, we're trying to do a pilot for a TV show. And we would love to include you, as well as, give you like producer credit. And I was like, oh, well, who's on the cast? They were like, well, who do you think? And I was like, oh, we're at that stage. Okay. So I decided to reach out to a couple of people that I knew and that I felt that would be mature enough to handle not being combative, taking things personal, but still business-wise at the same time, right? But still engagingly funny and interactive, and that was going to get people to, partake. Well, Jerome's name got thrown into it. Prior to Jerome being called upon, I had went on a live with Angela Stanton. And I don't think that Jerome knew that Angela and I have known each other for years. Truth be told, I got Angela Stanton verified on Instagram. So,
wow.
Truth be told, behind the scenes, I got Super Scent verified. I got the Crayon Case verified. I got Rick Ross verified. I got Big Booty Judy.
Can you get the TTB network verified?
Freeway Rick Ross.
Hold on. The Rick, like rapper Rick Ross?
Freeway Rick Ross.
Oh, the drug cartel.
The real nigga, yeah, him.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Not the cop.
So behind the scenes, that's what I do. I help build, influencers or businesses, brands. I help them have, a notable presence. And because of all the obstacles that I've been faced, that I have had to endure and fight tooth and nail to have these accredited accolades, I have, the reach to help. And I'm such a stickler for helping out other people. I wish that I could help myself.
You got yourself. I'm sorry, I don't mean to cut you off, but FYI, TTB was verified on Facebook, the original Facebook, okay?
Mm-hmm. What happened?
We're talking about Instagram.
Hold on, our former employee deleted everything. We're starting all over now. Yeah, he deleted everything. I know, it's fucked up.
Are you serious?
Dead ass, bro.
How long ago did he delete it?
I'm gonna say 2019 at this point?
2019. Okay, so
we don't have to go into all that right now. I was just proving a point.
I'll look into it.
I was just proving a point to Mr. Aaron over there. But anyways, Bubs the guy, what do you have to say?
Shauna, you better work.
Yes. I had to cut some of my questions down a little bit because, time constraints and everything. But I kind of wanted to focus more on the trans experience. And especially with me being a Black gay man, I want to be able to do the best that I can to be able to continue to protect my trans sisters and protect my trans sisters. So I'm grateful for this opportunity. Again, thank you. My first question, I'm going to kind of set it up a little bit.
Okay.
According to the HRC humanrightscampaign.org, unfortunately, there has been a total of 21 transgender / gender nonconforming people fatally shot or killed by other violent means, majority of the victims, unfortunately, being Black and Latino. The latest victim being Jahaira Dealto, who I personally knew. Now, with you being firstly a human being who shows up authentically as yourself, with trans just being an extension, what goes through your mind personally when you hear or see statistics like that?
Jahaira was my girlfriend, and she was more than just a girlfriend. She was my house sister.
That was so tragic.
And just not even hers. Like last week, it was her. And then the week before that, it was my other girlfriend who looked up to me that grew up in the 757, which was Ashley Hunter.
Take your time, sweetheart.
Yeah, take your time.
And like some people coming to my social media like, girl, you ain't posting a day, or you know, what's going on with you? You don't go on a live. And they just don't understand. Like every day I was like, I'm on pins and needles because Caitlyn Jenner did nothing for me but make my life more hell, if that makes any sense, because I'm not privileged. I didn't grow up, you know, with a sheltered, silver spoon. I literally had to fight my way into anything. Literally. Jahaira, when I was going through that breakup with Anthony, Jahaira reached out to me. I flew over to Europe. I think I was like in Greece or something. And she was like, hey, I'm just, checking in. She had a way with words.
Oh, yes. Oh, her vernacular was crazy. Who educated? Whoa.
And she had a way of explaining things that would make you see. If you didn't understand or you didn't get it, she would make you get it in a way that was like, wow, why didn't I fucking think of this before? Mm-hmm. And to hear how she passed away, like, she did not deserve that at all. She fought for everybody, advocated for everybody, was a true form and testament of an activist.
Yes, yes, yes.
Mm-hmm. So, I'm sorry, y'all.
No, this is the truth. We need this. This is the truth. I
forgot.
Look, we free over here. We free over here on the panel.
And it goes to show you how small our community is. Like Bub said, he knew her.
That's my house sister. You know what I mean? Like, we're like me and we're the Balenciagas, the girls that when it's time to show up and show out, we show up and show out, and we go back to our regular lives. I just feel like the trans women need to be protected at all times.
Yes.
And I don't want to play the numbers game when it comes to people who say, oh, well, it's only 20 of y'all that got killed, but it's thousands of Black men. Well, I understand that. And I wholeheartedly and empathetic and sympathetic for the men, our brothers in our community that are, but there's a larger amount of them.
Yes, yes.
So there's no comparison in relation to they're taking us out. And it used to be, you would only hear about the drag queens, men in wigs types, the cross-dressers. It's becoming no discrimination amongst us at all. It's becoming more pertinent with like, are these connected? It's becoming more of just hate. It's becoming more brutal violence with guns. People don't have respect for life, and it is sad and disheartening that the trans community always will be the first ones on the battlefield and be the first ones to get shot and killed because of simply existing at another person's issues, bullshit, opinionated views that they don't have to deal with and sleep.
I'm sorry, but I'm so sorry. I want to say really quickly, but that pisses me off. It pisses me off when they say, "Oh, you can't compare the trans to the Black man." It's like, first of all, did you forget that there are trans women who are Black? That's number one. And did you also forget that most trans women are killed by the Black men who you want them to mourn over? It's like, I can't mourn over these Black men because they're out here killing us. So
the reason why I tried to stop escorting, the reason why I tried to literally put that on a halt is when my best friend, Bianca Barbie Mizrahi, when my best friend passed away and I had to call the who's and what's, all of the people that I knew that she had immaculate correspondence with, even down to the person who bought my Mercedes. And I never even had sexual relations with this guy. Just because that was my best friend, he just bought me a Mercedes. When I couldn't get a phone call, text, called the agency, left messages for the assistant managers. I even called the house phone, office phones, all of the things. And not one of them called me, emailed, text, sent flowers, or did anything in contribution to paying their respect. And I said, if this is how we're going to get treated when we go, I need to make a legacy of my own. I need to make my footprint in the sand be defined and definitive as something that is worthwhile and meaningful, so that it's not another headline of man dressed in women's clothes, shot and killed in hotel, or, jumps off a bridge, whatever the case may be. I don't want that for me. I don't want that at all. I feel like there's not enough time. I feel like I'm losing time because there's so many things that I want to do, that I want to give back to the community. It's like, even with the Legendary, I've talked about this with my house. Like, why do we not take the houses in our community and make it just like the sororities and fraternities? Why can we not make and elevate our own communities? Why does not every house have their own nonprofit organization that has, and keep the money within the organization and have these contributing factors? Because when you go to White Pride, baby, they got the elite A-list stars and talents and venues and locations because their paperwork is right, because business is right. And with white people, if it is going to be a donation, a charitable donation, then let me go ahead and donate it to your nonprofit organization, so that way it's a write-off and I don't have to worry about if it's going for good, bad, or whatever the case may be, because ultimately, what am I doing? Getting that money back at the end of the year.
Yeah, that's true.
So, but I don't, it's like the community does not support each other, like, in that sense. And I blame a lot of it on life experience and education. They don't teach what they need to teach us. They don't. They keep that shit for white people. They direct all of that stuff towards white people. That's why we created America. People of color created America. But they come in and they gentrify our cities and they gentrify, our neighborhoods. And then they gentrify the internet now that we're seeing all of this, it's supposed to be freedom of press. Everything is supposed to slide down our timeline. It shouldn't be no algorithm that's gonna, pop. I don't want to see what my girlfriend did 4 days ago. I want to see what she's doing now. You know what I mean? In real time. And it's so sad that the white people come in and they take our ideas and then they come in with their business language and their jargon that is not in layman's terms, that bamboozles us into carnage, scamming us into believing that this app is for us, but it's not really for us, because how I thought Facebook was for, our friends and schoolmates. Now it's social media. Well, I thought that it was to keep up with your schoolmates. Right. But now it turned from social media to now it's a marketing platform. So are you publishing? Are you like, what are you doing here? You know what I mean? And it's like they constantly are finding clever ways to distract and influence rather than inform. And if Black people would stick together and inform each other and not be silenced by the content that they produce, because I've got disabled from Instagram 3 times, and every time I come back stronger. I come back harder. Because one thing about Shauna Brooks, I don't give up.
On the Chasin chat with Angela, and she made it known that she wanted you to take her son JB's under your wing. Do you feel like it's hypocritical for Angela to ask you to take her child under your wing when you have done sex work? And knowing that Angela don't particularly care for that particular field.
Plus, you're also a trans, which she doesn't like her son to be. So it's like a double sword. Like, that doesn't make sense.
Black people, and we say this all the time, y'all don't ever get it. Y'all don't ever understand it until it hits your motherfucking front door, until it hits your own kind, your own people, your own loved ones. Because there is a way that Mother Universe, I don't care what religion you believe in, I don't care what, what religious, culturalistic views and beliefs that you have. I have one variable, and that is Mother Nature and her karma. And what she gives is only what you spew out into the universe that comes back at you like a boomerang.
What you resist will always persist. Yeah.
Listen, and how I feel about her asking me to take her child and really help JB's, I said no.
Oh, wow.
I told her, I said no. Why did I say no? Because any influence that I would have had on JB's, twerking, it could be, and I'm not a pandering type of a girl. I don't teach girls how to be hoes. That's one thing that I don't do. People ask me all the time in my comment section, Shauna, how do you do this? Where do you go? Where's the best? I don't teach people how to be a hoe. I talk about my hoe experience, and that's it. Yeah. Because I wish that somebody would have told me no, right? Because people get it confused that it's supposed to be utilized as a means to an end, not a career. Although it can be. But for trans women of color, ordinarily, it was not for career-wise. I told her no because I didn't want to lose or jeopardize the friendship that I had with Angela, because when I was homeless, Angela Stanton was there for me. When I had no place to stay, Angela made a way and found a way for me to stay. If I needed some money to eat, Angela gave me food. You get what I'm saying? And this is when Atlanta was doing me so dirty that she was there for me. So it's a deeper connection. And I told her no, only because I knew if shit were to go left and if JB were to transition, she would have blamed it on me. And I didn't want that because I already saw that. And the reason why I already saw that is because I experienced that with my own mother. As I've told you guys, I got emancipated, didn't I?
Right.
So that clearly means that I could not live underneath the same household as my mother. That's why during that interview, I cried. I hate crying on camera. I do not like crying on camera. I feel like it's like I'm like coming off as like a bitch or something. Like, you know what I mean? Like, and I don't like to show vulnerability because we have to be strong. And I just be feeling like sometimes, you know, I don't know what it is, but that is the main reason why I felt I had to tell her no. And that led her to what? Go to school and get a, get her degree in psychology. But that's because you got educated. But Angela is at a point where my mom was.
Hold on, I'm gonna make this announcement real quickly, and this is something that we normally don't do on this show, but because you're such a special guest, ladies and gentlemen, we have one more commercial break to take, and we're coming back with the one and only Miss Shauna Brooks.
First I'ma step on your feet, then I'ma knock on your block. Burn off your ears with the heat, then I'ma climb to the top. Didn't even know it's a rap, bodied you down with a pop. Keeping my foot on your neck, snatching your teeth, it's a chop. What you was saying? It's a chop. You not a fan? It's a chop. Ain't got no bands? It's a chop. Oh, you ain't paying? It's a chop. Is that your man? It's a chop. We throwing hands? It's a chop. You see me slaying? It's a chop. Shit, I ain't playing? It's a chop. Clear the room. Heard us a pretty nigga coming through. With 20 twins with them double D's, we got bad bitches and they running too. We done skipped the line, but you knew that. Don't even waste your time, you can't do that. Secured that lit advance, but I blew that shit. Thought my time was up, but guess who that? Yeah, these niggas keep doubting me. I pull up and all of they bitches be flocking me. Showing me love, but hate quietly. I peep everything and move silently. So you was up talking reckless on IG, now we face to face like it's game time. This ain't Costco's nigga, but you tried me. I'm supplying the rope cause it's hang time. While you was asleep, I was up in your house, mapping out plans to come catch me a mouse, a rat, a leech, a loser, a louse. Keep speaking shit you know nothing about. The nigga that run it gon' rise in the east, but prophecy say he gon' come from the south. Rick James on these hoes, I'm like Prince on the blouse. I just bought me some boots to come fuck up your couch. First I'ma step on your feet, then I'ma knock on your block. Burn off your ears with the heat, then I'ma climb to the top. Didn't even know it's a rap, bodied you down with a pop. Keeping my foot on your neck, snatching your teens, it's a chop. What you was saying? It's a chop. You not a fan? It's a chop. Ain't got no band? It's a chop. Or you ain't paying? It's a chop.
Ladies and gentlemen, and we are back here on the panel with our lovely surprise guest, the one and only Miss Shauna Brooks. Now, before the commercial break, you were saying how, you know, Angela Stanton was educated, and she sort of reminded you of your mother. You were saying like your mom. What did you mean by that?
As far as like battling with honestly accepting the fact that what she wanted, what she felt as though she may wanted the best for me. That's not her life or decision to make for me. So my mom was initially not accepting at all of anything that I was doing. That's why I went the routes that I did with, you know, the backstreet medical hormone therapy for, you know, the silicone for the anything. Okay. My mom was not here for any of it. And my mom is so crazy is because my father was more accepting than my mother. And you would think that it would be the opposite around. You know what I mean? But my father was Black, and my father, of course, between you and I, my father was very, very cultured and well-versed because he was in the Navy. So he's been everywhere.
Right.
And lo and behold, how we say the universe always has its way.
Yes, it does. My
father actually dated a trans woman in Thailand. And yes, got written up, ended up staying off base with this particular individual. And I would like to say that I would like to say that he may have had some love, you know, for, you know, Miss Ladyboy herself.
Mm-hmm.
And lo and behold, his only child ends up being a trans. I never tell your mom. You're like, but I already knew. I already knew what it was. Like you that's how my father talks. He stutters. And I already knew what it was. He said, "It's my karma." I was like, "What? Your karma? What?" So that's what initiated.
I am gagging. I'm sorry, but I'm gagging. That is
we all fell back.
It's interesting.
This is a panel exclusive, ladies and gentlemen. Like
I've never told any of this stuff.
I know. I've watched it.
Thank you for sharing it with us.
Thank you for sharing with us.
I am gagging.
But I appreciate you doing that.
But Angela, so I understand where she's coming from because my mom tried to beat me up. You know what I mean? My mom tried to put me in what do you call it? Juvenile detention because she said that I had put my hands on her. So, and that was her only way of trying to get me to stop getting out and doing what I was doing and being on the streets. Like I used to go to school from 7 in the morning to damn 2 p.m. in the afternoon. I would go to my my job, which was right after school, 3, sometimes 8, 9 at the grocery store. And then by 11 o'clock, I would be out on the street making money because my mom didn't want to pay my cell phone bill. And unfortunately for me, nights and weekends didn't start till 7 p.m. And y'all remember that?
Yes, I do.
So unfortunately for me, my mama won't gonna pay my bill. Okay, so that won't gonna happen. And I would be out all night. I would come back home around 4 or 5 in the morning, get a couple of hours sleep, head back to school. That was my routine Monday through Friday. And my mom was so envious and so disrespectful and so ignorant. Like the same ignorance that Angela has for, JB's is not, it has nothing to do with JB's. It has everything to do with her. But I will say JB's is, and in my opinion, has been very much so, very in tune with having an opinion. And as a child, because that episode from the bottom up, I think that's what the TV show was on.
Yes, I remember that episode.
When they had the
therapy
session, the therapy session. I don't believe Angela acknowledges her role in what she plays. Someone has to be the adult. Someone has to be the adult. And adding fuel to the fire by insulting, this is a child that you said you took the hinges off and now you're fighting. Well, nobody should be fighting at all, actually. And in that sense, if that is the case, what's going on, then as a parent, you have to turn and walk away. I've been in a foster home because my mom beat the hell out of me and had a metal plate in my forehead. That's why I always relate to this. You see this little scar, it's like an X right there. So that's real. That's, like that is real, like real life toxic. And that's why I knew I had to get emancipated. And that's why the judge knew they had to grant me, to get emancipated. So what she's going through is she needs to understand that her son died. And she needs to grieve and let go.
We're just talking about this.
And once she does that, she will be so much more at peace, because as you guys, I don't know if you guys saw my TV show with my mom on the ID network, the very end of it was a sit down with my mom and I. And that was the very first time that my mom ever even talked to me about transitioning. I mean, throughout all of the plastic surgeries and me coming home and rolling over, like, Mom, help me out. Like, we've never had that intimate conversation like that. And when my mom was like, it took me a very long time to finally accept what you've become. And, she's proud of me for turning out to be a beautiful woman. That brought me to tears, because I know how hard it was for her. Because outside, I'm the only child on my father's side, but my sister, I'm the only one who graduated high school on time, and which they didn't think that I was, because I was hoeing on the streets. And I still made sure that my mom embedded in me growing up. They can take anything away from you, but they can't take away your education.
There you go.
Period.
Take away your mind. Can't take away.
I have another question, Shauna, about this particular topic. We're gonna stay with her on the Dr. Phil. While watching the Dr. Phil show, do you feel Angela was justified in her assessment of Ashley Marie Preston, or did she overreact? And I'm talking about during the taping and after the taping, when they had that exchange on Twitter.
I don't believe that Ashley, kudos to Ashley, because she is so smart and she is so gifted with her ability to literally be another infantry warrior on the battlefield for us. And Ashley, I help Ashley as well. And she's helped me out in my entertainment career as well. So we have an understanding and we see the common ground. We know what needs to be, said, and we know what we have to do. But I do not believe in this particular case, Ashley was the best fit for Angela's case. I have a girlfriend who has 2 kids, 2 boys, who is trans, that is married to, biologically, the kids' parent, they're both they're both trans, but one is a trans man, one is a trans woman.
Okay.
Right. I got it.
And they have 2 little boys, and they're raising them, as a regular, family would. And when you are giving advice, constructive advice, you would be more receiving to receive that word from someone who you would see on your playing field, if that makes sense. And I don't believe that Angela, and because I verify Angela, Angela, of course, knows who Ashley is. You get what I'm saying?
Right.
So, and I think that's why it didn't resonate to hear what Ashley was trying to say, even though Ashley was 100% right. Even though Ashley was,
she did that.
She did it. She brought the force with her. You know what I mean? And Dr. Phil had a lot of respect for her and gave her her time to educate Angela. But Angela's not dumb. Angela's not, y'all not telling her something that she does not know. You get what I'm saying? However, if it was somebody else that had kids, that went through that, hell, my mother, you get what I'm saying? She'll be able to understand and be like, well, what do I do? Because you've been through it and you have a beautiful daughter. I respect your daughter. You get what I'm saying?
But then they do now have, like, for example, the T.S. Madison experience with Mother Mary, how she had to go through that whole transition as well, as far as learning to accept Madison for who she is. But I also believe,
to be honest, I don't believe that that's a great representation as well, because there's still some issues with, Miss Mary being being called Miss Mary, you know what I mean? And out of respect for Miss Mary, however, every family has their way of dealing. Like my father says, he doesn't call me daughter. Fully accepting, fully, proactively here for, but I will always come out in reference, oh, that's my child.
Okay.
But I'm not a child dad.
Right.
And that's what I had to tell Angela. You keep pushing this context and narrative of JB's as your child, which instantly in their minds, people are going to be empathetic and sympathetic to the fact, but that is a grown young adult.
Yeah.
And because of those narratives that you know of, because of people like me that had to endure this whole, Angela gave me my publishing deal for my book that I still to this day, she knows intimate things about me. So she has a different perception of what could be or what the statistics are for trans people in general. And as a mother, as a parent, she doesn't want that to even be the question. But here's the thing, she can't use my experience because JB's a different generation. JB's is financially well off. JB lives in a penthouse.
That's true.
Where Angela can't even get upstairs. You get what I'm saying? So you can't use those issues or stigmas, those narratives on JB's. So at the end of the day, what can you honestly say that you're actually combating or uncomfortable about? Because if you're uncomfortable about all of those issues, the drugs, the sex work, you actually going on national public TV can still lead that child, as you say, to drugs and sex work. Regardless.
But then why not look at it like, for example, like you said, even though those have been your experiences, look at how you were able to transmute that to something. It's not how you start, it's how you finish. And then it's like with Angela, the fact that, like you said, you guys known each other for so long and you had that intimate relationship. Do you feel like there were moments where maybe you were trying to educate her and be like, okay, Angela, look at it this way. And then once again, for you, living in that experience, having more experience.
I try every day, but the toxic I can only take but so much.
Right.
I'm still gonna be a friend, but I cannot keep taking the blows and subjective Jerome saying that I'm transphobic because I support my friend. Jerome didn't know that was my friend. You know what I mean? So Jerome didn't know any better. And he thought that I chose her side because I went and did the live after he was disrespecting her. You can't go into an interview and expect any change or any type of results when you're coming with an intention to be catty, be fierce, or not even understanding or letting them talk. And then it leads into the shady tactics and gay, ultimately bullshit that you disrespect this lady. Now she disrespected you and nothing gets, solved. I don't want that for Angela, but I know Angela's gonna come around. I just don't know how long or what's it's going to take, because now there's a different element involved in this. They're both public figures at this point.
Yes.
And they both have been on national public TV.
Yes. Is it that reason that you do not want to manage Angela? Because she has asked you on the Chasin chat, she asked you, do you want to
I need somebody to manage me.
Oh, okay.
You get what I'm saying? I need somebody to manage me. I need somebody that's gonna, like I told you, I'm great at pulling out the best out of people and making magic. I'm good at that. I can't apply it to myself. And you want to know the main reason why accountants are really good with helping other people manage their money? Because they don't have sentimental variable factors connected with their hard-earned money. So certain things like with management, unless Kris Jenner comes to me and says, we got to start all over on your Instagram, you have to delete everything, I will crawl into a hole and die. If you're going to tell me that all of these memories have to be erased, but if that's what it takes and Kris Jenner says that, I'll do it. But as somebody that I don't know, who doesn't understand trans, who's not going to understand that these negative comments matter, that these dialogues in this comment section matter, that all of the content that I post, my captions matter, they're not going to understand how to manage. With Angela, how ironic would that be for me to come in as a trans woman and manage her?
You should. No gas girls.
And the only thing that would transpire from that would be the constant negative commentary that would plague me. I just want to be great on my own accord. And I just want to be elevated and lifted in a positive light for where I shine the best.
Right.
You get what I'm saying? You can polish up. Listen, I love Janet Mock dearly. Love Redefining Realness. Immaculate. Just the overall projection of the book and the fairy tale of her life. But what I heard versus what people read are two totally different things. I heard somebody deceiving somebody in order to push through your career to, navigate stealth-wise, not openly, but to deceive everybody in your circle, even down to your, potential love interests for the better and uplifting progression of you as a woman in regular, normal society. At the end of the day, was it a lie? It's all perception. You get what I'm saying? Right. And because I'm telling it a different way of, is it still the same thing that happened? Yeah. Do I fault her? No. It's a beautiful story. We want that. We need that. We need to have that hope. We need to redefine realness. You get what I'm saying? Right. She's half Asian, I'm half Asian. She's from Hawaii, I'm from Guam. She's got military parents, I do too. She was Hoeing, she went to Thailand, I did too. The same exact narrative, the same exact journeys, different
outcomes,
different trajectory. You get what I'm saying? Right. Different polishing. But at the same, that wasn't my calling. And I know I'm gonna have a day where I get to sit at the table on my own accord. I just want to be able to do it without any more negativity, because that's all I've been plagued with is negativity in my career. And it's always at the demise of someone else. I would hate to honestly elevate Angela, and then my opportunity for whatever the case may be is subjective by way of that situation. But trust me, Angela will come around. She will come around. I don't know what it's going to have to take.
Yeah.
You and Bub's friend Jahaira, you said she was someone with great words. Like the way she could describe something to you was like, wow. Do you think if she would have spoken to, not saying I don't know if she did or not, but do you think if she would have spoken to Miss Angela Stanton one-on-one, that she
absolutely
would have?
Absolutely. You don't have to finish it. Absolutely.
Jahaira,
I'm gonna pull up. I'm trying to pull up this one. There was a when I type into my my notes section, what do you call it? Facebook. When I type in my Facebook messages, there is literally the message dialogue that we had last, and the way that she just had a freaking way of speaking to folks. And it was so genuinely passionate with nothing but love and respect. Like that lady could literally talk you out. I'm going to read it to you if you guys don't mind.
Go ahead. Yes, please.
Okay, great. So it starts off with, and mind you, this is on my birthday. So this is the conversation. Hold on. Hold on. Okay.
There we go.
So
okay,
that's the conversation right there. And I'm in the blue. She says, "I miss you and I love you so much." I said, "Oh, thanks. What you doing?" She says, "On Skype, needing to be in bed. How was everything?" I said, "I'm making it." She said, "You still in Europe?" "I'm in Greece, Cyprus." I said, "But business isn't going so well, but I'm thankful." She says, "God's a provider. I know it will turn around." And I said, "It always does." She says, "And while I respect you being Mrs. Independent, Mrs. Go-Getter, 2012 to 2052, get on Skype once in a while and let somebody know that you are all right." I said, "Yeah, I know. I've been busy. You know I'm hurting. So I'm just staying away like I normally do." She said, "Some would argue that that's the perfect time to reach out, Shauna." She said, "You're loved and you're not alone. I'm here always." Here I go. "Well, girl, you know I'd rather keep to myself. I hate looking like I need someone to hold me and tell me things is gonna be all right when I know it's just a lot to deal with right now." She says, here we go. "Don't let the fear of how you're being perceived hold you back. Shauna, it's no judgment over here. I've been through some things too, you know."
She was a reminder. She was a reminder that God still cares about you. Like angels in the earth, she definitely was one. Definitely an angel on earth. Yes. Yes.
But I'm sorry, what were you guys gonna say?
That was just really, really good. So I understand why you said she can make a believer out of a non-believer. Is that right there? That one little thing was one little conversation.
I'm over in countries away. Countries away, different, it's a different day, you know what I mean? And she's reaching out to me, asking me how, just genuinely like, how am I doing? You know what I mean? That was, and at that time I was going through that breakup with Anthony. That took I spent 5 years with that man, in training years, that's a decade. So
I know the gay years, yeah, all that type gay trends, all that, yeah, I understand.
You know what I mean? Like, so that was a long time, and I invested a lot into our relationship because I really wanted, you know, it to work, and that was my first true love. So, you know, dealing with that, and I think, and Jahaira knew that because I went all the way up to Boston and went to a ball because I wanted, you know, the Boston people to support my ball, and I went to theirs, and she was there, which she didn't expect me to be there, and I had just flew in from overseas, and I was like, you know, I gotta get the people coming because, you know, we gotta be a thing. And Mama just always held her ground as a phenomenal woman. You could not tell that lady that she was not fish in every essence. We don't have those nurturing motherly spirits anymore in our community. And she will be dearly missed. And I love her so much. And I miss her spirit. I miss her reaching out when you don't expect it, just because she didn't know that I was going through that. You know what I mean? She knew I was going through something. She knew I was going through that. But she reached out as a sister. You know what I mean? And trans women don't have that. We don't have that connection anymore. Social media algorithm is going to be the death of humanity.
I love how she said even the times that you don't want to show your face is when you need to like really show your face. Like that to me said everything I needed to know about her. So I'm so sorry for your loss.
Yeah.
Bubs, I'm sorry for your loss as well. You know, we at the panel, we at TTB, we extend our love to both of you. And ladies and gentlemen, Miss Shauna Brooks, you have been amazing. Thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Shauna.
I hope that this interview gave you guys a little bit more in-depth and you know, intel on me personally, because I don't really open up like this. And one thing I will say is Malik Yoba, who is my, you know, my mentor, my acting mentor, he says, if you were to talk to people the way that you talk to me on the phone and show some sort of vulnerability, you would have a lot more people that would understand you as a person. And I think that I got that out tonight. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
You were everything.
Thank you.
You were everything. No complaints.
Well, coming
coming
soon on Thursday on the TT panel, round 2 with Shauna Brooks.
Yes. Always.
And this time we won't have a time limit this time. That's why.
Okay. Hopefully it'll be for a book deal, because you know I'm still trying to get a book out there. But the problem that I'm having in the disconnect is I know that the new generation and the millennials, we don't like to read, we like to watch. So
do an audio book.
I want to I can hear things, but it's so much better when you just Fantasia it and get a lifetime special and you play your own self.
Do it. You can do it. You can do anything you want to do. Okay.
So that's where I'm at.
Okay.
Well, thank you so much for being comfortable within us enough to
wash face, no base, with no makeup and no lash. Do what?
Yeah.
Listen, while I'm over,
still look beautiful.
You was like, can you come in now? I'm like, over here. Let me go. Let me show you exactly what I was doing before.
Oh, okay. I see.
Okay. There is no glam squad over here.
You are the glam squad.
I do the hair, I do the makeup, I do everything. So, you know, it's a lot. And people always be like, girl, you've been a one-woman show forever. When is Captain Saberho is coming, child?
He coming.